The phone rang at 3:47 a.m. Moscow time. In the depths of the Kremlin, behind walls that have witnessed centuries of power plays and political chess matches, Vladimir Putin received news that would send shock waves across the global political landscape. Half a world away, Donald Trump had just made a statement that changed everything. Picture this. Two of the world's most controversial leaders, separated by oceans but connected by a web of geopolitical tensions so thick you could cut it with a potted knife. For months, the world has been watching, waiting, holding its breath as these political titans circle each other like predators in the wild. Every word matters. Every gesture is analyzed. Every silence speaks volumes. What happened next defied all expectations. Putin's response wasn't what anyone predicted. Not the diplomats in Washington, not the analysts in London. Not even the closest advisors in the Kremlin's inner circle saw this coming. The carefully orchestrated dance of international diplomacy suddenly became a high-stakes gamble that could reshape the entire world order. Behind closed doors, emergency meetings were called. Secure phone lines lit up across 3 continents. Intelligence agencies scrambled to decode the true meaning behind the carefully chosen words. Was this a strategic masterstroke or a dangerous miscalculation? The answer would determine the fate of millions and potentially alter the course of history itself. The clock is ticking. The world is watching. And what unfolds in the next few minutes of this video will reveal secrets that governments don't want you to know. Expose the hidden motivations driving these powerful men, and uncover the shocking truth about what really happened when Trump's latest move forced Putin's hand. This isn't just politics. This is a battle for the future of global power, and the stakes have never been higher. If you want to stay ahead of these game-changing political developments and never miss the inside story behind the headlines, hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to be the last to know when the next bombshell drops. The story begins 3 weeks ago, when Trump made an unexpected announcement during what appeared to be a routine press conference. While most media outlets focused on the surface-level politics, the real significance lay buried in a single sentence that lasted less than 10 seconds. Intelligence sources suggest that this brief statement triggered immediate action in Moscow, Beijing, and several European capitals. To understand Putin's calculated response, we need to dive deep into the psychology of power and the intricate web of relationships that define modern geopolitics. Putin isn't just a leader, he's a master. Strategist who thinks in decades, not election cycles. Every move he makes is part of a larger game plan that most observers completely miss. The first clue came through diplomatic channels that most people never hear about. When ambassadors start canceling lunch meetings and embassy staff begin working overtime, those in the know understand that something significant is brewing. Within 48 hours of Trump's statement, unusual activity was detected at key Russian facilities, suggesting that Putin's response was already in motion. But here's where it gets really interesting. Multiple sources indicate that Putin's team had actually prepared for this exact scenario months in advance. They had war-gamed various Trump responses and developed contingency plans for each possibility. What they didn't expect was the timing and the specific way Trump chose to deliver his message. The chess match between these two leaders operates on multiple levels simultaneously. There's the public theater that we all see, the carefully scripted statements, the photo opportunities, the diplomatic ceremonies. Then there's the shadow diplomacy happening behind the scenes through intermediaries, back-channel communications, and coded messages that require expert interpretation. Putin's actual response came in 3 phases, each more sophisticated than the last. The first phase was immediate but subtle, a series of seemingly unrelated policy adjustments that only became clear when viewed as a coordinated strategy. Russian energy exports shifted, Military exercises were rescheduled. Key personnel received new assignments. To the casual observer, these looked like routine administrative decisions. To intelligence analysts, they painted a very different picture. The second phase involved what experts call strategic signaling. Putin began making public appearances at specific locations with carefully chosen symbolic significance. He met with particular foreign leaders in venues that carried hidden meanings. He authorized certain statements by Russian officials that seemed routine but contained coded messages for those who knew how to read them. The third phase is still unfolding, and it's the most audacious yet. Putin has essentially called Trump's bluff in a way that demonstrates his understanding of American politics, media cycles, and public psychology. He's betting that he can outlast Trump's attention span and that the American political system's inherent chaos will work in Russia's favor. What makes this situation unprecedented is how both leaders are using social media and modern communication technology to bypass traditional diplomatic channels. They're speaking directly to each other through public statements, knowing that the entire world is watching and interpreting every word. It's diplomacy in the age of Twitter, where a single post can trigger international incidents. The economic implications alone are staggering. Financial markets have already begun adjusting based on speculation about what Putin's full response might entail. Currency fluctuations, commodity prices, and international trade agreements are all being recalibrated as investors try to position themselves for various scenarios. European leaders find themselves caught in an impossible position. They need both American security guarantees and Russian energy supplies, but the escalating tension between Trump and Putin is forcing them to choose sides in ways that could prove economically devastating. The phone calls between European capitals have been non-stop as leaders desperately tried to find a middle path. The intelligence community's assessment reveals layers of complexity that most political commentators completely miss. This isn't just about two strong personalities clashing. It's about fundamental questions of how power operates in the 21st century. Putin represents the old-school model of centralized, long-term strategic thinking, while Trump embodies a more chaotic, unpredictable approach that conventional wisdom says shouldn't work but somehow often does. Behind the scenes, both camps are engaged in intensive scenario planning. Russian analysts are studying Trump's psychological profile, his business history, his family dynamics, and his relationship with key advisors to predict his next moves. Meanwhile, American intelligence agencies are doing the same with Putin, trying to understand the decision-making processes within the Kremlin's opaque power structure. The military dimension adds another layer of complexity. While neither leader wants direct confrontation, both understand that credible military capabilities are essential for effective diplomacy. The movement of troops, ships, and aircraft becomes part of the communication between them, a high-stakes version of body language that speaks louder than words. What's truly fascinating is how this confrontation reflects broader changes in the global power structure. The old post-World War II order is crumbling, and both Trump and Putin are trying to position their nations advantageously for whatever comes next. They're not just responding to each other, they're both responding to the rise of China, the changing nature of warfare, technological disruption, and demographic shifts that will reshape geopolitics for generations. Putin's response strategy also reveals his deep understanding of American domestic politics. He knows that Trump faces unique constraints that previous American presidents didn't have to navigate. The constant media scrutiny, the polarized political environment, and the upcoming election cycle all factor into Putin's calculations about how far he can push and what responses are likely. The economic warfare component is particularly sophisticated. Rather than dramatic gestures that would trigger immediate retaliation, Putin is implementing subtle pressure points that will gradually increase costs for American consumers and businesses. It's death by 1,000 cuts rather than a single. Devastating blow. As this situation continues to evolve, the stakes keep rising. What started as a diplomatic exchange has become a test of wills that could determine the balance of power for decades to come. Both leaders understand that showing weakness now could have catastrophic consequences for their domestic political positions and their nations' international standing. The final element that makes this situation so dangerous is the unpredictability factor. Both Trump and Putin have built their political brands on being unpredictable, which creates a scenario where traditional diplomatic guardrails might not hold. When two unpredictable forces collide, the outcome becomes genuinely uncertain, in ways that should concern everyone watching.